Oh, good God, look how much tempura I accidentally ordered tonight. I got a food delivery, right? I thought, oh, it'll be Japan-sized portions. And they sent me enough to feed the 5,000. Ridiculous. It's times like this, I wish I actually had some friends in Sendai who could help me eat things. Actually, there is someone. Yeah, she might do. She might do perfectly.
Why have you ordered so much food?
Well, I knew you were coming. I know you like food, so it's just for you. I understand you've hastily prepared some questions for us. We're going to do a Q&A.
I've hastily prepared some questions. Are you ready?
I kind of want a bit of food first. It's been sitting here cold.
We do have a lot.
It's probably quite cold now. People say I'm not healthy, but look at this. It's a leaf.
Nothing healthy about that.
How dare you? That's a leaf, that is.
A deep fried leaf.
A deep fried, but it's a leaf nonetheless, full of leafy goodness. Oh yeah.
What is your favorite detail of the set that nobody else would notice, but you still love?
I mean, the cool thing about the set is a lot of it you can't really see unless you make an effort. I'm looking at the vents right now. Like every good ramen shop in Japan has these dirty, horrible vents. And even though they don't work, they look very much like they work. And the first time I got here,
oh, do they not work?
I don't think they work. They might work. The team that built this, they didn't really tell me what works and what doesn't work. So I've kind of been working it out as I go along.
That's
but
cool.
Maybe they work. They seem to be plugged in.
Yeah, they do.
But what about you?
So in the back street that you never film in, there's a manhole cover and it says Abroad in Japan on it. I feel like nobody's ever pointed that out.
And the tragedy is no one really gets to see it because I haven't made a video where you would see it. I have a scene where I'm like dead on the floor next to it.
You have to add one into the next video. I'm curious about what the dodgiest places or things one can encounter in Japan are.
I think the greatest thing you've got to watch out for are the animals.
Oh, animals.
Hornets, brown bears. Like, I wanted to go to a haikyuu, like an abandoned place in Hokkaido. And there was one place in the countryside I found, like an abandoned school. Really abandoned, really decrepit. But there was a warning underneath, and it said, like, on the website, and it was like, by the way, there's so many bears here, you will get eaten. And so, like, in Hokkaido, I kind of made me think twice about where I go and what I do.
Yeah.
Because they're pretty
That's scary.
dangerous, the bears.
I can see bears, like, hanging out in an abandoned building, too. Dodgiest place in Japan. I'd say, like, places like Kabukicho, like, really touristy, like, nightlife areas. Because they try and scam you a bit. And they try and like drag you into clubs and then charge you obscene amounts of money.
We had a story on the Abroad Japan podcast a few months back where a couple had come to Kabukicho on a night out, on like their first night in Tokyo. And this is usually someone there's like, a free drink, do you want a free drink? And you're like, yeah, who wouldn't want a
they like
free
you
drink?
in with something.
They get you in. They then put lots of dodgy drugs in your drinks, sleeping tablets, and they'll, while you're sort of knocked out, they take your credit card and fuck it into the ground, basically. And in this case, they stole about $3,000 off this couple's credit card. This was like their big trip, their honeymoon trip to Japan. It was gone. They went back home with loads of debt from their holidays to Japan. So I'm actually going to make a video about it next year because I want people to know not to go to the wrong bar and end up with lots of debt in a night out of bad drinking.
How long have I been sitting here? What's the most uncomfortable or creepy experience you've had in Japan that you didn't record in one of your videos? Meeting Connor doesn't count.
Oh, that's a shame. Do you have any examples? Anything you think of?
A man followed me home from the station when I lived in Tokyo once and tried to like forcefully get into my apartment. That would probably be mine.
Jesus, that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
That's not creepy, that's dangerous, surely.
Well, yeah.
Bloody hell. I guess there's two things that I can think of that are kind of recent. One was, I was with Connor recently, we went to this abandoned theme park, middle of nowhere, in an area that's known for having bears and wild boars. And
of course it is.
While we were walking through, I heard some sort of noise that was like, and it wasn't Connor.
Are you sure?
It wasn't Connor for once. It was, and I started. Connor was like, "Oh gosh, what's that?" And then I was like,
"Oh, he heard it too."
He heard something.
So you weren't imagining it.
But he claims he didn't hear the noise. I heard this like really creepy breathing noise. Like, I thought it was a wild boar sort of passing through the trees around it.
Yeah.
Because it was a really dense sort of forest we were walking through. It was very overgrown, this abandoned theme park. And the other time was with Ryotaro. We went to this the most haunted inn in Japan, apparently.
I went there recently.
Yeah, it's in Iwate Prefecture, and it's a cool inn. You sort of walk around at night, and you can soak up the atmosphere. And at one point, we were inside, and there was a little toy bird, very similar to this, actually. Might have been this one.
It's back to
It was a little bird, and I very stupidly stopped filming, which you should never do when you're in a haunted place. And this bird just went, oh, just fell off, just hit the floor, and the camera wasn't rolling. So I had to sort of start recording again and be like, oh look, the bird fell off. But it didn't seem convincing, it seemed like desperate.
Yeah.
And that sort of desperate way people film things when you go into like a haunted place. We're about to do some B-roll shots, some nice shots of these dolls.
And I was holding this light.
And he was holding the light, and I was going to film it. And one of the birds just fell off, this little bird. That was kind of creepy.
Yeah, I went there recently and I looked at that bird display. And I picked the birds up because I was curious if it was really light and it could have just been like easily blown over. And they're really heavy. They're like solid. They're made of metal or something.
I don't believe in ghosts or anything like that, but it was still a little bit creepy. It was still a bit odd. There was nothing to sort of suggest how or why it fell off.
Yeah. What's your favorite mode of travel throughout Japan and your least?
My favourite form of transport is bullet train, Shinkansen. I do it a lot going to Tokyo, like once every like 2 weeks. So comfortable, so smooth, so effortless. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of videos on Instagram where I film out the window and just get this really beautiful, smooth shot through the scenery of Tokyo. It just feels like magic. And the worst way for me was horseback. Getting on that horse. I did this like horse ride, Journey Across Japan 3. Natsuki and Joey, it was their favourite thing they'd done this year. I spoke to them both, they're like, oh, brilliant.
How can you not like riding a horse?
Because my horse wanted to fucking murder me.
You definitely did something to that horse. I didn't.
I was the best. I mean, I might have got on it and accidentally pulled the reins too hard and made it go backwards and made the woman scream at me, but the horse was a bit unreasonable. Maybe I was just too heavy. I don't know. I was probably a bit too heavy for that horse. What about you then?
The night bus.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, the night bus is torture. So when you like first move to Japan or you're a student or something and you're trying to save money, they have a night bus where you can travel really long distances, but you're in a really cramped seat with a whole bunch of other people, and it's so hard to sleep, it's so uncomfortable, it's noisy, and yeah, it's just very unpleasant.
I always get stuck next to someone who snores their fucking head off.
The whole bus snores.
And now I've smashed my tree. It fell off all by itself, it's a ghost.
Hey Chris and Charlotte, what's your favorite memory with each other and why? And they also asked worst.
On the original Journey Across Japan, you joined for quite a bit. And we went across the Shimanami Kaido, a chain of bridges and islands across the inland sea of Japan. The scenery there is like a top 3 most stunning place in Japan. It's a really nice place to sort of get fit, exercise, enjoy the scenery, soak it up, and yeah, I think it's probably my favourite.
I was going to say that for mine.
Even I was dead by the end of it. And also maybe the day before Journey Across Japan, we went to
Fuji.
We went to Mount Fuji.
It was a fun trip, minus the roller coaster.
And then, oh yeah, we took Charlotte on the roller coaster.
That'd probably be my least favorite.
That's my favourite memory.
It's my least favorite.
Watching Charlotte on the roller coaster, which she had a massive fear of. But I think you hit it well.
How did you and Chris meet?
The way to meet people online, especially in the world of like being a YouTuber or whatever, is to Twitter. I don't really like Twitter, but it is a very good way to meet people. And I've talked to all sorts of people there and got to know them. And you were one of the first there. I remember I hadn't really spoken to any other YouTubers in Japan. I was very isolated up in North Japan. And you were one of the big guns at the time, you know, poster child of YouTube. I think somebody tweeted you and me in a tweet and said, oh, you should do a video with Abroad in Japan. And then you wrote back being like, yeah, I'd love to meet him. His videos are good. And I was like, wow, I've been noticed. Been noticed by Charlotte. Yeah.
Don't remember that.
I was dirt back then.
That's not how we met. Though.
I didn't remember that. Rubbish.
That's not how we met though.
I did meet you in person, but that's our first connection.
Oh, okay, yeah.
When did we meet then?
At that Halloween party.
Ah, yes, it was a Halloween party.
Yeah.
What was your first impression of me?
You were wearing eyeliner and you had a bunch of candy stuck to you, so I didn't really know what to think. Strangest thing you've ever seen someone do in Japan?
I saw a guy doing something to a mirror once.
Doing something?
On my first night
to elaborate.
In my first night in Japan.
Your first night?
We like broke up into our groups from our prefectures and I went out with the Yamagata crew.
Yeah.
And we went to this like a gay bar in Shinjuku and there was a guy just fucking a mirror. Yeah. He was drunk, I think, and my friend was like, "What are you doing? It's a mirror." And he was like, "Oh, I thought it was someone." He was so drunk he thought the mirror was someone else.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I also saw a guy walk a duck through Akihabara.
Yeah, things like that are pretty
A duck
common.
man. And there was a guy once I saw, and he's walking his tortoise.
Turtle, yeah. Tortoise,
turtle.
yeah.
Around a park in Aomori. So add that to the list of things to do in Aomori. Watch that happen. What about you? Can you top those?
I was catching the train in Shinjuku, and I was lost in the station like I always am. And then I noticed that people were like looking strangely at someone behind me. And I turned and looked, and there was an old man just standing there with no pants and no underwear. Just standing with his dick out in the station.
No.
Not doing anything, just like standing there like that.
Oh my god.
It was really weird.
That's
And it was for a long time, because he wasn't moving or anything, he was just standing there.
Did you vlog it?
No!
For Shala in Japan
Vlog it. I
channel.
don't even know if I had a channel at that time. This was years ago.
That's interesting, both our stories were in Shinjuku. Lots of weird shit goes down in Shinjuku.
How has living in Japan changed you? Think of.
Made me fatter.
Don't think that's Japan's fault.
Yeah, it is, of course it is. I think I'm a more considerate person. Because in Japan, like, the way the language works is you're very sort of, you praise other people a lot. Like, at the end of the workday, it's like, oh, tsukaresama deshita, like, thank you for your hard work. You know, I say that a lot to people that help me out. Because at the end of the workday, in the UK, instead of saying, thank you for your hard work, you just go, oh, off to the pub, man.
I would say I probably pay more attention to following rules.
Right.
And like looking at signs and making sure I'm able to do things. Like in Canada, I didn't really think twice about anything.
Break all the rules in Canada.
Like I just don't really think about it. I don't think, is it okay to jaywalk here? Is it okay to film something? Is it okay to talk on this train? You just don't think about those things.
True. I mean, jaywalking is a really great example, right? When you look at a road that's like barely a step across and people don't cross it, even though there's no cars coming, no cars in
It's
sight.
like 2 a.m.
That is like the perfect example of how much people obey rules here.
Yeah.
You know?
Any Japanese scary stories that kept you up at night?
There's one. About a year and 2 months ago, I went to this abandoned love hotel in Jonagosh, Japan, first night. And we went in, and it's a really fucked up place. Like the place, you know, there's like blood on the wall, there's like weird drawings.
Oh, the one you went to with Joey.
The one with Joey and Natsuki, where Natsuki like
That was
had a
pretty
panic
creepy.
attack.
Yeah.
Where are you taking us, You know, I felt like a movie set because it's just so messed up.
Yeah.
But after we visited that place, there was a lot of drawings in there of a woman having like like stomach being cut. It was quite graphic, and I had to actually blur it out because I didn't want the video to get buggered and I didn't want to traumatise people too much. But after we went, some people messaged me and sent me some stories, and apparently like something really bad happened there. I think someone might have been murdered
At that
hotel, and it said that there's sort of really malicious spirits hanging around there.
Jesus.
And you know, not long after reading that, I remember I was in bed one night and I heard like this really horrible, like creaking noise, and I you know, it might have been my stomach.
You thought about that
rumbling,
hotel.
but like I heard something and I was like, oh shit, is the spirits coming to me now?
Back to get you.
If I'd known that story before, that something like of that caliber had happened there, I don't think I would have got him. I don't think I would have got him. Yeah.
The last question is one for you.
Yep.
How is Chris so handsome? Any tips to become so handsome when I hit my 30s?
It takes sacrifices to look this good. You've got to be careful what you eat, what you do. You know, look at this leaf here. That's a good source of vitamin D, C, riboflavin, all the flavonoids. That's the sort of thing I eat, and that is how I look this good. And I think we should end it there on that note. Without any disagreement, I think we can all agree on that one. Thank you so much for coming, Shah, to the studio. I hope you have a great Christmas.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, guys. I'll see you later on in the week for the next episode of the 12 Days of Christmas. Bye for now.
Bye.
So handsome. Sacrifices made. Yeah. That's my goal for next year. Get even more handsome.
Fuck off.